While kung fu movies have gained popularity among foreign audiences, Chinese directors and actors still find it hard to gain international recognition. CCTV's Shen reports.
2014 was a good year for the Chinese film market, with the country's total box office takings reaching nearly $4.8 billion. The numbers are looking pretty for domestic markets, so what about the bigger picture?
Well, considering the Chinese film companies has always been shouting about going overseas and competing with Hollywood, but just how successful have they been? And this silver book right here is looking to answer that question.
Mainly divided into 5 parts, the book looks at aspects such as the content of Chinese films released overseas, the effects of such films, the diversity of distribution channels, and core problems facing the industry. A recurring theme of the report is that filmmakers willing to challenge the traditional channels of production and distribution could find success on the international market.
The focus this year is on how overseas viewers are exposed to Chinese films. What we found is that people tend to watch Chinese films through free channels instead of going to theaters. Most of the participants watch Chinese films online. The internet offers fertile and challenging ground for Chinese filmmakers to exploit. And also, kung fu and comedy are still the most popular types of Chinese films among overseas viewers.
Kung fu films can be very successful, like in the case of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Directed by An Lee, it grossed $128 million in the United States, becoming the highest-grossing foreign-language film in Hollywood history. The raw spectacle of martial arts combined with Chinese characters, settings, and costumes satisfied the audience's Orientalist interest without challenging their underlying perceptions about China. AICCC said this has been a prevailing trend since they started the project in 2011.
We started this project because we want to find out how Chinese culture is being received internationally, and films are the most visually effective way to show our culture. There are studies on the impact of foreign films in China, but not the other way around. Hopefully our study could shed some light on this.
The survey certainly gives filmmakers in China something to work on, but for some, this may be just one piece of the puzzle.
It is one way of assessing the influence in the market of Chinese films. It's not the only way, and I think it works better in evaluating the awareness rather than the penetration of Chinese film products. One needs to look at many different results to get a whole picture, but this one is certainly valuable.
Chinese filmmakers may have trouble promoting on the big screen. On the small screen, however, the interest in China and its culture is growing.
We noticed that more and more Chinese elements are shown in American drama. Either it's a character, or it's a storyline, or a place, such as Marco Polo, etc., etc. For me, it's a kind of westernized narrative of Chinese culture. It's like Chinese food in America. It's not Chinese food. It's American interpretation, imagination about Chinese culture.
This rising interest in Chinese culture overseas is mirrored in China's booming economy. And the overseas small screen success could be a breaking point for the big screen.
Past year, we have seen a new version of Marco Polo, a miniseries, and also Fresh Off the Boat, which is about a Chinese-American family in the United States. This was unprecedented, actually, especially for broadcast channel. Also, we have seen the American version, the re-edited American version of Empresses in the Palace, which is a huge hit inside China. It's a little bit too far to conclude that these examples point to a conclusion, but they certainly point to a direction that Chinese stories are being noticed more and more frequently, and this comes as a natural result of China's rise on the world economic stage, because culture and economy go hand in hand.
Experience from the small screen could point to the right direction, combining professionalism of Hollywood with the cultural flair of Chinese cinema. However, the need for Chinese producers and filmmakers to find better storytelling techniques and fresh ideas will certainly be an uphill battle. Shen, CCTV.